Hi everyone, thanks for watching. This is a video about the Begode Hero and its attempt to make it up to Overheat Hill in Florida. I've done a number of these videos, all based on Marty's Overheat Hill videos in California, and everyone thinks that Florida is flat. The area of Florida that I live in has a lot of hills, and this is the hilliest area I could find to test the Hero to see if it could make it up the hill without overheating. And previous electric vehicles that have made it up this hill included the Segway Mini Pro, the One Wheel XR, the Tesla V2. I believe I made it up with the 16X. I know I made it up with the EXM, but I didn't shoot that. And yeah, and also the S18. But now I'm on the Begode Hero. It's a wheel that I've come to love. It has a really great suspension system, as I mentioned in a previous video, and it's supposed to run cool. Now the S18 is the coolest running wheel I've ever experienced, but this one is a close second. I think it's just the way the air goes in and goes over the heat sink through that hole in the front. And it also has a fan that kicks on, I believe, at 47 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. But here I am, I'm making it up the hill, and I made it up okay. And every once in a while I try zooming in on the suspension whenever I go over a transition from a sidewalk to the street to try to show the suspension and work. It's a little hard to capture, but anyway, I think the suspension eats up the bumps better than the S18, and the S18 I thought did a great job of it. And so now I'm taking it up Overheat Hill. I'm still going up the hill actually, and hopefully you could tell by the grade on the side of the road the cars are heading up. But I'm pretty much near the top of it right now. And so instead of just turning around and going back down Overheat Hill, as I sometimes do in my videos, I decided to keep on going through the neighborhood that Overheat Hill ends on. And for those of you on Facebook, you may have seen me post pictures from time to time of a cow licking my 16X. Yes, I said that, a cow licking my 16X. It was a little further up this road where I saw a cow pasture, and I decided to take a picture with a cow with my 16X, and he started licking the 16X through the fence. So I thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, I'm going to go past that cow pasture, and instead of finding a cow hanging out in the pasture, I found a sheriff's deputy hanging out in the pasture. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he's just chilling out. But anyway, on this sidewalk there's a little ramp right here, and it's always fun to go up and down that ramp with this wheel, because again the suspension just like eats up the bump when you're coming down the hill and going back to a level sidewalk. It's totally cool. And this particular, I'm just trying to show the suspension, like going through the grass whenever I can. But I'll be getting the Master soon, and when I get the Master soon, I'm going to be selling this wheel. There's a couple of local riders who have expressed interest in it. It's awesome. You guys have probably recently seen the U-Stride video where he was riding the Hero in New York City, and he found a fire hydrant and he left it under the fire hydrant just to show how waterproof it is. It's supposed to be the closest to a waterproof wheel there is. And I don't ride in the rain, but I believe it, just based on the quality of how this is built and how all the seams fit together tight, and the shell and just everything about it. It exudes quality, as I previously mentioned, and so it was pretty cool seeing him. I was cringing a little bit when I was watching it under the under the fire hydrant. But he was riding it afterwards, no problem, and he had it, like he said, he had the handle up, and the wheel was turned on as it was under the water of the fire hydrant, and it handled it well, and he just took off riding after that. So we're coming up on the pasture after I cross this intersection. I'll be making a left in the pasture. We'll be on the right, and that's right where the cow was, and I'm trying to zoom in to show the sheriff's vehicle just hanging out there in this pasture. I don't know what he was doing. But anyway, again, I'm trying to zoom in on the suspension. There's really not much to see with the suspension. The shock itself has a, it looks like it has a cover on it, and it kind of hides a lot of the movement of the shock, but trust me, it just feels very comfortable. And here I'm about to go on another transition, and I barely felt it. And all the little cracks in the sidewalk that you would normally feel that are brain jarring, like on a 16X. When I rode the 16X on this sidewalk after the cow licked it. I don't think the cow licking it had anything to do with it being brain jarring. But yeah, this particular wheel just eats up all those cracks in the sidewalk. You don't feel it. It's so smooth. It's a very comfortable and enjoyable ride. You can see the running light in the front. It's always on. It's an extra measure of safety that they threw in that you don't typically see on EUCs. There might be one or two others that have it, but it's a rarity. And so hats off to Begode for including that safety feature. And then it has a regular headlight, and it also has bright lights as well when all the lights are on, and you just toggle them through the power switch, as you would expect. It also, if you could look down between my legs, you'll see the built-in seat. I don't do it in this video, but a buddy of mine, Vincent Rowland, has been getting me to start riding seated when we go on our rides. And you have probably seen Vincent in some of my other videos, like riding to Fort DeSoto Park. I taught him how to ride, and now he's teaching me how to ride seated, because he has very good seated riding skills. So, but anyway, the Hero has a built-in seat. You don't have to buy a separate seat. And, you know, as Ustride was saying, it's like really comfortable, and it just fits well the way it's shaped and the way it's formed. So for especially a beginning seated rider like me, it's perfect. And so this wheel is comfortable, relatively easy to ride. The only drawback I would say to it is that this is the high torque version. It comes with the knobby tire that you would see on an EXN high torque. And at first I really liked it because it felt like there was a lot of stability, but for me it's very hard to make sharp turns. Like there was a turn there, I probably could have made it if I just stayed on the wheel, but I find that I'm having a difficult time making extra sharp turns. But overall the tire is very comfortable. I really like it, and it's very stable when you're riding. Like this particular turn is no problem at all. I mean, this curve. So, but yeah, the wheel has been great. The display is great, and on a daylight ride like this, you still could see the display unless the sun is shining directly on it. So as I go through the shaded area of this forest that I'm about to ride through, I could definitely see the display very well, and it shows the you know, your speed in kilometers. It's a relatively easy calculation to convert it in your head to miles, and I'm not the best at math, so for me to say that it's true. And it has your temperature in Celsius, as I mentioned earlier. It has the total mileage of the wheel, which is unusual, in kilometers, and it has the battery level with bars. I believe it's 5 bars. And those 5 bars, even though, you know, if each one is 20% battery, it's been relatively accurate. You know, I used to go by the percentage in EUC world, and different people have commented to me that I could adjust EUC world. I just don't know exactly how to adjust it, but it's off until I get lower in battery level. So I just go by the voltage. It's a 100-volt wheel, so I take off 5% for every volt that I'm missing. So if it says 99 volts remain, that's 1 volt missing, and so I take off 5%. It means I have 95% battery remaining. That's how I've been doing it. Another quick calculation. I wish I didn't have to make any calculations as I'm riding, but you often find that you do. And so anyway, the bars on the battery level have been, even though each one is 20%, which is a pretty big unit of measure, 20% in and of itself for each bar, they have been relatively accurate compared to the voltage. So in other words, when I'm down to 80% based on the voltage, 1 bar is missing. When I'm down to 60, 2 bars are missing, etc. So it is relatively accurate. You know, it's just that it's not detailed if you're using that bar method to calculate your battery level. But anyway, as you could see from this video, there were a lot of curves in this sidewalk. I'm on a straight part now, but just coming from around that lake, and this wheel handled it great. And you know, I really couldn't have asked for anything else from this wheel. I've never run out of battery on it. The last ride I did a couple of weeks ago on it, I went 55 miles and I had 25% remaining. So I know I could have definitely hit 60. It's just that I had 2 bouts of heat stroke on the particular ride in the middle of nowhere. And the guy I was riding with, Elliot Diaz, he's like a really cool guy, and he stayed with me and gave me all his water, actually. You know, that's how nice of a guy he is, just to try to get me back up on my feet again and finish the ride. But it's like as soon as I got back to where my car was, I stopped just because of these 2 bouts of heat stroke that I had on that ride. But I'm totally, you know, I know for sure I could hit 60 miles on this, and we were going about 20 miles an hour. So we were going, he was on a Sherman, he could go faster than me. And, you know, in some spots we were going faster, but I would say 20 miles an hour was a good speed for what we were going. And I got, like I said, I got 55 miles with 25% remaining. So it's, to me, it's a 60-mile wheel for sure, which is awesome. And here, the sidewalk is like in the middle of a huge field and forest in the middle of nowhere. So you could go pretty fast on it, especially since the suspension is eating up every bump, and these bumps are like noticeable if you're not on a suspension wheel. So anyway, this may be the last video I make on the Hero. I hope not. It'll be sad when I ultimately get rid of it, because it's been perfect. And like I said, if it is my last video, that'll signify that I got the master. So anyway, I wanted to show that it had no problem at all riding up Overheat Hill. It rode cool, and it had so much power going up the hill. It's like I was not wanting for power at all. You know, it just barreled up the hill really easy, and just continued on the rest of this ride. So the ride's about over. Thank you for watching. I totally recommend the Hero. Again, this is the Hero HD.